From Mamma Mia, welcome to The Spill, your daily pop culture fix. I'm Laura Brodnick.
And I'm Em Vernon.
I can't believe I'm about to say this. I have waited a year and 21 years before that to say these words. But this is our brutally honest review of Wicked for Good.
For good. And now you're meant to harmonise. Good.
You've put the lyrics to a different song, but that's okay.
Harmonise.
I don't think anyone on this pod wants.
For good.
I'm sure Cynthia Erivo would be so...
Josh clapped. One of our video producers, Josh clapped.
That literally, we're in a soundproof studio and Emily's just then permeated the soundproof walls.
He's thrown double glass doors.
Again, Cynthia Erivo would be so proud.
God, I felt good.
We'll do that again at the end.
Oh, thank God.
So Wicked for Good has now been in cinemas for over a week. We were lucky enough to see it early, so we've really been permeating on our thoughts. And you know what's interesting that I was thinking before we came in here is that we attended the premiere together.
Yes.
And we sat in the same row, but
Yes.
we had our producer and video producer between us.
Yeah.
And we actually haven't discussed this movie. I have no idea if
We haven't.
No, well, purposely. Obviously, you didn't think about this, but I was like, we're going to save all of our thoughts for this room. So I don't know whether you loved
you've been
it,
avoiding
hated
me.
it. I've been avoiding you like the plague.
Oh my God.
Like you're a green-skinned girl in the world of Oz.
Oh, I know that story.
Initial thoughts?
Okay. Firstly.
Yeah.
The premiere?
Yeah.
Love the party.
Oh, wow, this doesn't bode well for the rest of the movie. Are you serious? Imagine if we just cut the episode here and that's all that was.
Love the party. Love the food. Look, the movie for me, initial thoughts was like, not better, not worse than the first one. It just felt like obviously it is an extended version of the first one and they filmed them back to back.
Mm-hmm.
But it just felt like I was watching the first movie again in terms of like theatrics, like acting, cinematography. So I feel like with that, because the first one, the thing that when we talked about, did our brutally honest review for the first one, which if you haven't listened to, listen to that as well.
Absolutely listen to that. It was the best moment of my life.
Put that in the show notes for you because we have a lot of episodes between these two.
Yeah.
But I remember my initial thoughts for the first one was like, oh my God, this is cinema. Like the cinematography. But because I already had that wow factor, that wasn't I didn't get a secondary one for this because I was obviously expected it.
Yeah, I guess that the first movie, Wicked, which came out over a year ago, as we said, was very much like, I guess, leading people into that world for the first time. So it has more spectacle, but Wicked for Good has more heart. And like it asks more of you, and we'll get into this as we talk about the ending, it asks more of you as a viewer, but the payoff is better.
It's so sad.
Oh, yeah. Well, did you see my face?
The whole time
I know
I
we
was
didn't
just like,
talk at the
oh,
premiere, but did you
God.
see my face?
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously I sobbed through the original Wicked and you and I were sitting side by side with Cynthia and Ariana, of course, who play Elphaba and Glinda in the cinema with us.
Yeah, and it wasn't even a cinema, it was like a theatre.
Yeah, and that was a heightened experience and just the overwhelm of seeing my very favourite musical on a movie screen, I think hit me so hard that I was sobbing so much that at one stage you leaned over to me and said, you are making all the chairs in this row shake.
Yeah, there was like a lady next to us who was wearing a witch's hat and it was like wobbling.
Just because my sobs were ricocheting. So this time
but
around.
Also, that's the fault of the theatre.
That is the fault of the theatre.
Whereas now, this time we were in a proper cinema.
Yeah, this time we had reclining seats, we had a little drink tray.
So when you were sobbing, I couldn't feel it.
No,
and
you
I was on
couldn't
the other
feel
side
it,
of the row.
but oh boy, could you see it if you saw it.
And this time, I feel like this movie in particular, compared to the first movie, everyone had their moment.
Yeah, well, I didn't expect it to hit me that hard. I started crying in the first when Glinda's up on the podium when she's singing about like, you know, the love, like it won't thrill you the way you think it will, those moments. And when she's talking about Fiyero, I started sobbing then and I didn't expect it to hit me so hard the second time, but it just packs a bigger emotional punch to the point where I just had like black tears from my mascara just running down my entire face.
I know, girl, I saw.
It was not good.
Still made it to the after party though.
Yeah, looking crazy. But that's okay. That's what Wicked does to people. So I'm sure everyone's across the lore of Wicked, but the original Broadway show came out in 2003 and it is a reimagining of the book by Gregory Maguire called Wicked. The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West, which is, of course, based on the novel The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, which, of course, went on to be The Wizard of Oz.
And those books are hectic.
Those books, it's so wild when everyone says to me, oh, my God, I love Wicked. I can't wait to go read the books. And I'm like, the books?
You're getting a different story, girl.
You are getting the wildest story. Can I just say, I really like the Wicked books.
You know, I started reading them.
Did you? After I warned you?
Yeah, it was too scary.
Well, they're so dense. They're much more politically minded. Also, Elphaba and Glinda, not friends. Friends for a tiny moment. But
the musical really ran with that.
The musical takes that one half a page where they're like, should we be friends? And they're like, nah. The musical really takes that one page, which I guess is like the whole magic of the story, and reimagined it in this tale. I remember when I was reading one of the later books in the Wicked series, and Elphaba's son goes to Glinda like in peril and needs her help, and she's like, no. No. And there's also a lot of rape and war and pillaging and whatnot, but not in this beautiful musical that we got to see. And so there was a lot of contention when director John M. Chu decided that he wanted to obviously like adapt the musicals into a movie and slicing it right down the middle. What do you think of that? Now that you've seen it?
I knew, because I watched the musical twice before I saw the movie, so I knew what to expect in this half, because obviously the second movie it follows the same pattern of the musical where it happens after the intermission. And from watching the musical, you know that the scenes that take place after the intermission are super sad and depressing, and that's just theatre. So I feel like in theatre you kind of expect anything, and it's so different to cinema, because in cinema, especially when you're doing a retelling of something that's like so big and so wonderful, that's for the masses, you always expect a happy ending, and you expect to feel good, and you expect to have fun. And all of that just happens in the first half.
Yeah.
And the second half is just like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's the thing. It does. I mean, look, as the biggest Wicked fan in the world, even I would say that the re-entry into this world after a year-long break is slightly shaky in those first moments. Like, it does feel like they've sort of just dropped you back in Oz, and it does take a minute to center yourself. That's the thing I think is like...
I think you had to watch the first film again.
Really?
Just before getting back into this.
Oh, yeah.
Because...
If you're not across...
Yeah, because I was also... And this is like someone who's watched the musical and seen the movie a few times. I was a bit like, wait, where are we? Like, what's the timeline? Like, what happened? Yeah,
I guess that's a question a lot of people have. And here's the thing, I guess, is like, it's interesting that like Wicked, the first movie, does almost stand alone as its own movie.
I was just going to say that.
Although you would be crazy and just a soulless human being if you saw the first one and didn't see the second one.
Yeah, like definitely see the second one. But I feel like for rewatches, I can't actually see myself seeing both of them.
Really?
I see, like, because...
But the best songs are in the second half.
But I'm depressed as fuck.
But there's still some beautiful it's the most beautiful moments are in the second movie.
Too sad for me.
But what about the moments where, oh my God, I mean, we're going to get this as we go along. I actually do believe that the best moments are in the second half.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I do think that this movie feels like an extended ending, but I also think that's kind of okay because it's made for people who have seen the first movie. So if you wander into that cinema without seeing the first movie, that's on you. If you wander in without being able to remember what happened in the first...
You won't understand a single thing that's happening. That's something my dad would do, for sure.
Yeah, someone stop him before he wanders in.
And he'd be like, and then he was a scarecrow. It's like, oh my God, Dad. He's like, there was hardly Dorothy in it.
Yeah, I mean, that is important. It's not the
Wizard of Oz, Dad.
So we kind of find out, so our first scene of showing Elphaba is to show that she's now hidden in the woods. She's trying to show people who the wizard really is. And she's doing that by almost like attacking the people who are making the Yellow Brick Road.
Yeah.
And then we see that...
Deserved.
Yeah, exactly. As we know, that road does not always lead people to where it needs to go.
Exactly.
So that's on them. And then we find Glinda is very much become the puppet of Madame Morrible and the wizard of kind of being their anti-Elphaba. And
she's loving it.
And she's, I think she is conflicted. She's loving it because, as we know from her extended backstory that we get in this movie, it is all she's ever wanted.
Yeah. And the Munchkins are like, that evil witch deserves to die. And she's like, wait a minute. Yeah. I can say that. Yeah. You can't say that.
Exactly. That's my friend who I won't acknowledge publicly. And we also see her surprise Fiyero on stage with news of their engagement. And
which is, honestly, I think that's what we need to be doing now.
Yeah.
enough of this situationship.
Waiting for a man to ask you.
Enough of going on a million dates before you confirm the relationship. Get him on stage and tell him you're already engaged.
Just tell him.
You know what?
Say surprise.
They're simple creatures. He'll be on board.
At the end of the day, Glinda is a girl boss.
She's a girl boss.
She made that happen.
Yeah, she started Married at First Sight.
Yeah. And we also find out, and this is I love Fiyero's like slow burn, how he falls in love with Elphaba throughout both movies. Yeah. And I love
and
how
also that gun that he holds.
What are you gonna say about his gun? I'm not gonna. I just don't know how much Fiyero slander I'm gonna take on this pod. So choose your words carefully.
I thought it was like a short walking stick because it looks insane.
It's a musket, isn't it?
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I don't know what a musket is, but that sounds correct.
No follow-up questions, but that's all I know.
I was like, surely no bullets are coming out of that.
Well, I don't think that...
There wasn't even like... He didn't even have like a trigger on it. Just like pointed it like a wand.
I don't think the world of Oz is the place where the guards are like heavily armed in that way. People fight with... Like when they fight at the end, they're literally all fighting with their hands and magic. It's not that kind of show where gunfire comes out, thank God. So we see Fiyero. He's become captain of the guard. He's got a musket. He's looking for Elphaba. He's riding his horse valiantly out of Oz. Do you know that that horse is the same horse? Yeah. They've painted in blue for this. Well, they CGI'd him. I don't think they actually painted the horse. Blue? No, that's his horse from Bridgerton.
I think you told me this in the first.
Yeah, because it's the most important fact of the movie. You're shocked a second time.
Yeah. The horse is like, this guy again?
Yeah. Well, if you look at the photos of Jonathan Bailey and his horse, so the horse's name is Jack. He's got a very extensive resume. He used him in Bridgerton and just felt a really affinity with him. And he felt that out of everyone that he worked with on Bridgerton, I don't know what this says about the rest of the cast, he was the most calming presence.
Okay.
And the most steadfast. And so they brought the horse to the set to continue filming with him. And all the photos are just Jonathan Bailey hugging Jack, kissing him, wrapping his arms around him.
I'm assuming Jack's the name of the horse?
Yeah, Jack's the name of the horse. And Jack looking so uninterested in the whole situation. So it's a one-sided friendship. But it's nice to know that Jonathan Bailey could demand one co-star to work with in this project, and he picks the horse.
Yeah. I want to see the horse in everything he's in now.
I think that's going to happen. Jonathan Bailey goes nowhere without this horse.
Sexiest man alive, and it's just him and his horse.
To be that horse. Imagine being cradled by Jonathan Bailey and just being like, no thanks.
Oh, like between his thighs.
That's
where the horse is.
No, but in the photos, he's cuddling his face all the time.
Nice.
It's quite cute.
I mean, I wouldn't like to be dyed for a job, but I guess the horse didn't have an opinion.
Yeah, maybe there'll be an expose one day. Okay, so this is going off the...
I'm so glad we spent so much time talking about the horse.
I just feel like it's an important part of the cinematic universe. So now we're getting kind of into like the stakes of where everyone is, and this huge lead up to the wedding, which is almost like works almost like as a coronation in the eyes of Madame Morrible and the wizard of kind of crowning Glinda, or Glinda as she's known now since she's changed her name on a whim, as kind of the ruler of these people and trying to draw Elphaba in. So we've got that storyline happening on one side, but then we have a second storyline happening over in Munchkinland with Nessarose and Bok.
Oh, God, Bok. And
didn't you like? I thought Bok's arc in this was great. I mean, obviously I knew it was going to happen, but I never know how it's going to play out.
His arc? He was just angry the whole time.
No, but he goes from being like, it's kind of interesting.
A munchkin that's angry to a tin man who's angry.
No, Emily, it's much more evolved than that. Okay,
no,
so
firstly, he's a fuckboy. Because he was like...
Oh, don't make me be a Bok defender, but I'm going to have to be
he was
for
like,
a second.
Hey, Nessa, so now that like you're settled, I'm going to go and tell the love of my life that I love her before she marries someone else.
You love who you love. We can't help that.
Yeah, but don't tell her that. Just escape like everyone else.
You should have known she was evil.
Sneak out. Ghost her.
So what we learn about this...
And then he betrays all of Munchkins. No one can travel now because of Bok's stupid decision.
Okay, backtracking a few seconds and gliding over a few accusations that were just made then, is that we come back to Nessarose, who is now the governor of Munchkinland since the death of her father. Everyone's saying he died from shame from what Elphaba did, and also good riddance, because that man is actually the center of a lot of issues in this story.
How did he die again?
Of shame.
Oh.
That's a real thing.
Don't we all?
I mean, that's what they say in the movie.
Technically, we all die from shame.
Yeah, eventually you just like can't be here anymore. And so we know that Nessarose has been made the governor of Munchkinland. And what's interesting is that you so much of the first movie was seeing her kind of being in this world that had shunned her, and her getting a taste of this life she wanted and becoming very centered on that. And then in the second movie, which is interesting because the movie's been cut in half and each movie is this like the length of the original stage show, what they were able to do is broaden out Nessarose's storyline a little bit, which I found quite interesting, and give her a few more scenes, a bit more context, which I think is a great use of Marissa Bode, the actress who plays her. This is her first acting role, her first professional acting role. And when you think of that as you're watching her, she knocked it out of the park. She's also the first actress who was actually in a wheelchair to play that role.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
It's
I know how theatre works and entertainment, so it's actually not that crazy. Like, it's not a very welcoming space, but
it actually is crazy though, because if you've known Wicked, there's been so many stage productions around the world.
Over 20 years.
And I'm like,
across hundreds of stages in different countries.
How does it take for it to become a feature film for the first time to have her as an actor? Yeah, that I found that so wild that we've never had this before. But very happy with Marissa. She's amazing. She killed her role. And I think the tension, like the anger that she embodies when I think she has like the best character arc actually, because you see her going from being Nessa to becoming the Wicked Witch of the East, and you see that happen so quickly, but her emotions are so gradual.
Yeah.
Like you get tastes of it in the first movie when she sees like Bok liking Glinda, and you see like the tiny hints of rage she has that is straight away calmed down when he assures her that he likes her. And then in the second movie, you know that she has that like fiery ability. So you're just like waiting for it to come out. Yeah. And I think she does it so well.
Yeah. It's like when you're first introduced to her, she is almost seen as this like very fragile, childlike being who people, even Alphaba to extent, everyone sort of like coddling her and caring for her. And I like that in the second movie, she is just like a flawed character. She's just a flawed human being who all of her motivations come from a selfish place. But all the characters in the show do, because they're human. That's what makes Wicked such a good show. But you see, it's interesting that her gripe and her issue with Alphaba is nothing to do with her choosing to go against the wizard. It's nothing to choose around how she appears publicly. And she's probably the only person in this world who's against Alphaba who, one, truly doesn't believe she's evil as other people do who have this fearfulness of her. And she also isn't angry at her for not towing the line of the wizard. She's angry at her for feeling like she has been left in this position by herself, and she got a glimpse of this world that she could have been part of when they went to Shiz University, and now she's been relegated back to being locked in Munchkinland, and her resent for Alphaba comes from that.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't like that scene when they were fighting.
I know, but that is very much the crux of their situation.
I'm like, Alphaba can't like catch a break with anyone.
Yeah, even her own sister.
Like she's just bloody flying around. Saving some animals, getting verbally abused by her sister.
Her sister being getting served.
Love of her life's chasing her down.
Yeah.
Her best friend doesn't want to talk to her.
I know. She's in a rough spot. That's what I think. And then we get a little bit more also of Bok's storyline where we find out. Come on now.
Okay.
I actually think Ethan Slater's great in this role.
You know what he's better in?
Don't say SpongeBob.
Gen V.
Okay. Oh, that's right. You love.
Guys, if you haven't watched Gen V, that's where to watch Ethan Slater.
Well, yeah. Well, exactly. We're both Ethan Slater fangirls now for different reasons. But that kind of note where she says to him, and this is why it's good to get a bit more time with these characters that we don't get in the stage show, is where she talks about him being the only one to come and visit her when her father died and she was left alone. And his reward from that is being enslaved by her because he's the only one who's ever shown her affection. Like their storyline before the whole transformation is so beautifully tragic.
He just annoys me.
Why? Because he's short.
No.
That annoys me about people too. I was like, why are you that size?
I'm pretty sure we're the same height.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and you annoy me when you're like, why is she so small?
Okay, he's like, look at me, I'm Bok. Glinda, because I'm talking about movie one.
Yeah.
Glinda, I love you. Glinda's like, I don't love you. I love Fiyero. Bok's like, oh, now I'm sad. Who else can I love? Oh, look at that girl over there. Hey, Nessa, want to dance with me? Sure, Bok. That's how let's dance. Okay, I guess I'll just follow you to whatever career you'll want because I have no aspirations whatsoever. So now I'm Nessa's handyman, like right-hand man, blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, the love of my life, Glinda, who's never given me time of day, is getting married to the love of her life, Fiyero. I must go stop it, even though she has no idea who I am. Sorry, Nessa. I know that I said I'd stay with you forever, but I'm actually leaving. See ya. And then he gets to the train station, and not only does he get banned, but he's banned all of the Munchkins. So everyone's like, Bok. Okay, but now none of us can go to Emerald City.
But he didn't mean to do that.
Well,
okay?
He did.
He didn't mean to do that. He was just trying to go. And his interaction with the Glinda Festival, that was a wild fabrication of the events.
I was like, literally, you don't even watch the first movie now.
Well, yeah, exactly. You lived it there. His interpretation of it is that Glinda asked him to do this favor and he did it. And so he thinks there's a connection. Also, as those flashbacks of we see them all at college together and out in the field and spending time, like there's so much time that they have spent together that's been off screen. So you're meant to sort of think
I want to see that time.
Yeah.
I've got some questions.
Make a third movie.
Yeah.
And it's just the time at university that we didn't see.
Yeah.
I actually think Bok, apart from becoming the Tin Man and, that kind of real and like losing his humanity, the biggest kind of punishment for him, and that it's almost done with a real coldness, is, when he's back in the Emerald City and he's trying to rally people to go after Elphaba, after the Wicked Witch, and he's screaming with fury, and he looks up and he sees Glinda just looking down at him with this detached kind of almost like hatred and sense of betrayal on her face. And I think that is almost crueler than what happened to his body, because everything about this character has been motivated by being with this woman. And then at the end of the day, all of his actions led him to be reviled by the one person he loved. And so it's almost like this forgotten tragedy of the movie that people are like, oh yeah, Bok got turned, whatever. Kind of like we just move on from that so quickly because there's so many. And then he
lost his heart.
Yeah. And that's the one thing he cared about. Every decision he made was
led by...
Nessa
lost her jewelry. It's all attached to him. So, potato.
It is just this
you win
huge...
some, you lose some.
Oh my God, you're just like so flippant about this. It is a great tragedy of Wicked. I'll just keep going.
Yeah.
That the character whose every decision was made by his heart ended up losing it. And if you read the propaganda that is The Wizard of Oz and watch that movie, you think that he is this kind of kind being, but we just know the truth.
Yeah, he was so
nice.
The
Wizard of Oz was one of my favorite movies, I've got to say, until I read and saw Wicked. Now I'm just like, I can't be a part of propaganda and lies. Sorry. You can't just rewrite history.
I thought like the transformation and the design guide they went with the Tin Man was so good.
Incredible.
So spot on and so true to the original Tin Man in The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Like I love that they didn't make it like modernize it.
Yeah.
Like it just looked incredible, like an actual costume.
It looked incredible, and it also felt like it felt more like it was in the original story and books. It felt like a punishment and a curse rather than just like a reshaping of his body, especially because you can see that the way Ethan Slater does his movements.
He looks like he's in pain.
He looks like he's in pain every time he moves, and that he's been kind of everything about his body has been taken away from him. And so that's completely tragic. Yeah. And
the Scarecrow, we'll get to you.
Yeah, we'll get to that later because oh, God. It's just I have never seen a reaction. Why did they do it? We'll get to it. And of course, so much about I'm just going to have to push on it. So much about like kind of going back and forth between Nessarose, obviously kind of knowing that later on in the movie, she's going to be used as a ploy to draw Elphaba in, but also the slippers on her feet being the catalyst that kind of draws Elphaba and Glinda together later on. I saw some people, I could always hear people whispering around me in the cinema like, when are the shoes going to turn red? And I'm like, no, guys. The shoes are not meant to be red. The ruby red slippers is another lie fed to us by The Wizard of Oz. Because in the books, in the original Wizard of Oz books, the shoes are always silver.
Yeah.
And in the other following books, the shoes are silver. The reason they made them red in the movie The Wizard of Oz is because they had this new little fun thing called Technicolor.
Yeah.
They're like, look at us put color up on this movie screen.
It was one of the first movies that had color in it. That's why they made a whole big deal of like the first bit of the movie is like in black and white. And she gets into Oz and it's all color.
Can I say, that is one of the greatest shots in history. I rewatched it recently with one of my nephews because I wanted him to see The Wizard of Oz for the first time when I was there so I could give him a commentary.
And she steps out.
And he opens the door. And even my little 6-year-old nephew was like, because like it holds
it's magic.
up.
It's like proper magic.
And so when they tried that in the original Wizard of Oz movie, the silver shoes just didn't pop on screen. So they made them red.
Fair.
So I think it's important that they kept them silver in this movie, true to the original material. But the costume designer, who I hope wins another Oscar because the costumes in this are incredible, put some little extra details that have never been seen before. There are little tornadoes in the side of the shoes to kind of allude to what's happening. Yeah. Incredible.
And then when they burn up, they go red. So I'm like, you get your bit.
Yeah, you get your moment. That's a little homage. So coming back to where Elphaba and Glinda are, we see Elphaba arrive on Glinda's balcony door on the night of her wedding. Perfect timing.
Yeah.
And for a moment there, you think that she's going to come back into the fold of the wizard.
I think like that scene kind of set the levels of emotion for me because right up until then when they were separated, the like emotional and tragic level for Elphaba was so heightened.
Yeah.
Like everything was like messing up. Like even the animals weren't trusting her.
Yeah.
Cowardly lion. Come on, she saved your life. But
yeah. Again, talk about propaganda.
yeah. He's like, she stole me. And I'm like, leave.
But did you kind of like Coleman Domingo's voice? Every time the lion spoke, I was like, okay, lion, I hate you, but also
take your clothes off.
You're like, why am I sexually attracted to the cowardly lion? It's not my fault. That's the power of Coleman Domingo's voice. It came through the screen at me. And I'm already confused because I find the Tin Man hot and Ace and then I found the Scarecrow hot later on. It's too much. This movie, the vibes are too much.
The wizard, also hot.
Oh my God, yeah.
But such a loser.
Just get me out of this world. It's too sexually confusing. I hate it.
So she's at Glinda's door and they have a tiny bit of a heart. It's almost like now they've both established that they're sisters. It's like the way you talk to your sister where like Glinda is pretty much like, come on, dude, let's just go talk to him. Like, it's not that serious.
Yeah. It's like, the stakes could not be lower for her.
For her, the stakes, that's how I liked the clash between them.
Yeah.
Because Elphaba's like, literally the world is burning down. Like, it's so messed up out there. And she's like, dude, just talk to him.
Yeah.
I'll come with you. That's just it's my wedding night. Let's just go.
Yeah. She's like, I've got a dress to put. Birds help me get dressed. I need to go.
And even the wizard's like, oh, hey.
Yeah. Again, security nowhere. I've actually just realized why the beginning of the movie felt so jarring to me now. It's because, and I don't know why, I think they did this because they wanted the audience to not start on such a heightened note. But in the top of the musical, when Elphaba and Glinda come back together, they're a lot angrier at each other and their remarks are a lot more cutting. Like when Elphaba really taunts Glinda for almost accepting all of these different bribes. And in the stage show version, which I know the movie, you have to watch it with different eyes, but sometimes I'm like, there's a reason storytelling happens in a certain way. In the stage show where they're having that back and forth and she's like, well, we can't all travel by bubble. And in this, she kind of says it with a bit of an endearing, like in the movie version, well, we can't all travel by bubble. Like it's such a subtle difference, but it completely changes the tone of where these characters are and what their relationship is to each other after that moment. Of you're meant to sort of think that they had this big moment and then they both chose different sides, and when they come back together, the tension between them has built, whereas that didn't happen in the movie. Yeah,
but I also found that very similar to even the really, really sad scenes. Like it's like the musical was like extremes.
Yeah.
And then the movie was also extremes, but like on a level a bit below each one.
And I guess
it wasn't as sad as, it was still so sad, but it wasn't as sad as a musical.
Yeah, I think that is something that you kind of just have to work into having a year gap, because you've got to think in the stage musical, you've been outside, you've hopefully got another glass of wine, you've come back in, you've had like 30 minutes, you're still in that really heightened stage. So,
and you're so invested in the characters that whole time.
And so when you come back in, you need the character action on stage to match your heightened emotions.
And they have to like get your trust again.
Yeah. Whereas in the movie, he knows the audience is coming in on that lower emotional level and we have to build up together. So I kind of get it. But the bubble is such a metaphor for Glinda because it's this floating symbol of her not being the thing she wants to be, which is she wants to be seen as powerful. She wants to be seen as worthy. And even though she's got that on the surface, she's still hiding behind this trick that they've put in place. And it's so interesting because John M. Chu said his motivation for Glinda's character through this movie is like, she's got to pop her own bubble. She's got to pop her own bubble.
Yeah.
And yes, she does that physically when she pops the bubble. But what he's meaning is later on in the movie when she pops the bubble for the last time, it's that she's popping the bubble around her and this bubble of perfection that she wanted and putting herself out into this more realistic world.
And even the bubble of safety, right? And like we talk about it all the time in like Mamma Mia, how sometimes we forget that we do work in a bubble and then we meet someone who's like so opposite of us, especially, and we talk about this a lot in dating, where I'm literally like, I forgot people like this still exist.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what Glinda's doing, right? She's putting herself in the bubble because she's refusing to see what's actually happening in the world around her that she's like now the leader of.
Yeah. And that's such a good point. And it also, guys, huge revelation.
We worked out Wicked.
Wicked is solved. Which I guess is why they went so hard with the new song that Glinda sings, that Ariana Grande sings in the movie, which is The Girl in the Bubble. So now I'm going to out myself as a betrayal of my religion being Wicked, the musical, the songs, everything. Because as you know, I only listen to musicals and Wicked is my favorite musical of all time. I listen to the soundtrack over and over again. And so every year on Spotify, my top artist is Stephen Schwartz. That's not embarrassing, just so you know. That's amazing. Stephen Schwartz, the original composer of the Wicked musical.
Yeah.
A god among men, some would say.
The original. Because I remember
gave us Defying Gravity, gave us For Good, gave us Popular. Like, what can this man not do except write new original songs?
Oh.
Yeah,
You
because
didn't like it?
Okay, so
They had to do it for the Oscar.
that is what it feels like. So there are 2 new songs in Wicked, which I was
No Place Like Home.
yes.
And what was this one called?
So Cynthia Erivo sings No Place Like Home, which is her new original song. Ariana Grande sings The Girl in the Bubble, which is her original song. Both crafted by the man.
We were in this and we were like, play For Good.
I was like, well, just sing Popular again. I don't care. And so when I first heard there were going to be 2 new songs, I was like, oh my God, am I about to get 2 new best friends in my life? Like, that's what it feels like, because the Wicked songs make up my life. And maybe I just have to listen to them again and again and again. But they didn't feel, these 2 new original Wicked songs did not feel that they had earned their place in this movie, is what I'll say to that. And I think part of it, John M. Chu, who is my guiding light through all this, said that he and Stephen Schwartz did this because they had more time to fill. They had more space by making 2 movies. And so they wanted to delve deeper into the backstories of Elphaba and Glinda, and they decided to do it with these 2 new original songs.
Yeah. I wasn't a fan of the extra songs. Not because I didn't like the songs, but because I think developing those characters would have been done better via spoken word, like the film. Because even though this film was shorter than the first film, I think it was like 30 minutes shorter, it felt like there were parts that and I think it's the 2 songs that just dragged.
Yeah.
And it made it drag, but also because of the songs, because these 2 new songs made the film feel like it was dragging, all the other bits that I really wanted them to dive deep on felt rushed.
Yes.
Like all the multiple plot twists that happened in the end was just like bam, 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 bam. And there were people that we went with who hadn't actually seen the musical.
I mean, I would almost love to see the movie. I wish I could just erase the musical for a moment to watch the movie with
wild,
new eyes.
right? And I was excited.
I would be on the floor.
I was excited. I'm going to out video producer Michael. He hadn't seen the musical, but he watched the first film.
Yeah.
So I was sitting next to him, so I was excited to see his reaction for the plot twist. But because they happened so fast, it didn't actually give him a time to register or react what was happening. And that's not what I experienced when I watched the musical at all.
Yeah, the
musical, the whole crowd would be like, "Oh my God."
Yeah, no, I feel that so much. And one of the reasons why these songs didn't work is because Wicked is one of those rare musicals where it's not, even though the songs are incredible, it's actually not about the songs. You could take the songs out of Wicked and it would still work as a story.
Yeah, I agree.
Because the plot and the characters are so good. So every song that's in there needs to really earn its place, and the other songs all really earn their place. And I feel like each song has when you think about I'm Not That Girl, No Good Deed, was I really chasing good or chasing attention? Like you have all these huge moments, and like For Good, like a handprint on my heart, my life has been, they all move the plot along in a really important way. And these songs just felt like we were stepping into the character's world to get a taste of where their mind was at. And I was like, I was already there.
Yeah.
I already got it.
You wasted my time.
I get it, Elphaba. No Place Like Home. Move along. Go fall in love with your Scarecrow man. And what you're saying with the Oscars, it's like, it just did. I know that every creative person invested in this film and the years and years and years and years they spent on it, I know that they wouldn't think this, but what it comes across to us as the audience, it feels like Oscar bait. Because the thing is, they can't be nominated for those original songs and they can't do a full performance unless they have these new songs in the musical. And they wanted to give one to Ariana and one to Cynthia so they both have an equal shot in that category. And so they will both have a stronger shot in Best Supporting Actress, where we know Ariana Grande is going, and Best Actress, where we know Cynthia Erivo is going.
I want to talk about that.
Yes.
Because we obviously know that Cynthia is nominated for Best Actress and Ariana's Best Supporting Actress.
Yeah.
This film didn't feel like Ariana was a supporting actress at all.
Yeah, it's interesting. A few people have brought that up because it's meant to be Elphaba's story. And I always found it so weird when not that your opinion's wrong, but when I talk to people after they've seen a stage show, and I've heard so many people over the years be like, oh, the Elphaba character was good, but she can't compare to Glinda. And I'm always just like, did we watch the same show? It's Elphaba's story. She has the big, powerful moments. She has the plot twists. She has the best one-liners. Like, it's her movie. And they definitely added a lot more in for Ariana Grande and the Glinda character this time around.
I didn't think about that for the musical. I thought it was very much like what you said, like Elphaba's story. But I definitely thought this part of the movie, and even the first movie was Elphaba's story. I definitely thought the second movie was Glinda's story.
I guess it's the way they chose to open the movie, which again is all new stuff that's been added in, is that the first movie opens with Elphaba's backstory as a child, and then they cast a child to play Glinda in the second movie, so you have flashbacks to her. And I guess they do make more of her like stepping up into this leadership role, banishing Madame Morrible, all these sorts of things. I guess they do lean into that more. I don't know. The thing is, they're running them in different categories to give them a shot to win.
Yeah, that's right.
I hate when the politics of the Oscars, which I love. It's my main politics that I
Did they not watch Wicked?
Yeah, exactly. That's what happens when politics gets in the way. I love the politics of the Oscars, but I do hate when they encroach on my movie watching experience like they did here, because it's like, I shouldn't be thinking about the best actress race. I shouldn't be thinking about who gets to perform best song first. I should be in this world, and these songs pulled me out of it.
Yeah.
But then I got pulled back in by some of the best songs ever.
Pulled right back in.
I think one of the things that works really well is that I feel like some people will see Wicked for Good and feel like it pales in comparison to Wicked, the first one, because it's a bit frothier, it's a bit poppier, it has a more natural beginning and end in some ways.
And people know most of the songs in the first part.
Yes, which is crazy to me because this is getting into, now that we're in the meat of the second half, this is where I think the good storytelling happens, and it doesn't just happen in the crescendos of these big songs. And this is where John M. Chu, I might give that man an Oscar for directing. He knows that the biggest parts of Wicked don't happen in the crescendos. He knows that it happens in the quiet moments between songs. And that's what I think that's his best moment as a director, when he holds the camera just on their faces in those really quiet moments. And we have those moments of betrayal. We have, my favorite moment is in the movie. It's after Elphaba and Glinda have had their fight next to Nessarose's grave.
Oh, and she's like,
which is always one of my favorite scenes, because
like, the
physical comedy in that scene is
they are such bad fighters.
It's always how I think about, like, in Bridget Jones, like that's how men would fight, when they're just like half kicking, half punching.
I think that's what they studied. They studied Colin Firth
and Hugh Grant's school of fighting. Where you're just like, this is how you would fight. You actually, at the end of the day, you are but two basic girls.
And they have such big dresses on.
And Glinda's so tiny, and Elphaba's just like so quite like a bit embarrassed for her mostly. It's just all so good. But after that, we have Fiyero come in and say, "Unhand that green girl," which is always one of my favorite lines. When you have that, and this is where Ariana Grande's acting is so good, where you have that moment where Glinda's yelling at the other guards and she's like, "Leave him alone, leave him alone." He loves her, and that's the first time she'll ever admit to herself that he just loves her, and that there's no trickery, there's no betrayal. It's like her relinquishing any kind of hate, and just
couldn't
feeling
be me.
Sorry, couldn't be that involved.
Take him. In fact, bring more guards.
Okay, well, this is why you're not the hero of the story. And then you see, and again, Jonathan Bailey's acting. Also, where's his Best Actor Oscar? I hope it's coming for this role.
I think that end scene ruined it for him.
Maybe. Where he's like, "Glinda, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." And I was like,
this doesn't need an Oscar. He said like 2 lines in the whole film.
Yeah, but it's the way he said them, Emily. It was so good.
Also a question.
Okay.
So when he follows her back to, sorry, I'm jumping, when he follows her back to her nest.
Yeah, her hideaway.
In the forest.
Okay, let's get to that.
And she's like singing about like pretty much having sex with him.
Yeah.
And he's kind of looking around. This is a technical thing for me that I get really confused in musicals. Could he hear her?
I know what you're going to say.
Could he hear her?
Yes.
Okay, and he was just ignoring her?
Here's the rule of musicals is whether other characters can hear the song or not. There's always a very subtle light change, and there's always a very subtle, like, the other characters, if they're not supposed to be a part of the song, they'll turn their heads slightly. So there is a part in As Long As You're Mine where Fiyero is sort of turned away. So in that moment he can't hear her, but the rest of the song they are singing together. So yes.
Okay, you didn't really answer my question.
So he can't hear in the beginning, but he hears her as the song goes along. Does that make that has answered your question?
It's like, you've been saying something?
It's like, you talking about having sex with me? Because that's why I'm here. It's kind of implied. Okay. As Long As You're Mine, I've got to say is, and this is why the next person who says the second half of Wicked doesn't have any good songs, I'm sorry, I'm going to clock that person across the face.
I remember it being more sexier in the musical.
Yeah, okay.
Come on.
It is one of the sexiest songs you'll ever hear.
Yeah.
The first time I saw it on stage with Rob Mills singing it, and I've been in love with him, in love with him ever since. The first time I saw it on stage, I always like, I have to look away. It's too much. I feel like I'm watching people through like a bedroom window or something. It is so sexy. And this is the time where sometimes less is more, because on stage, it's actually one of the quietest songs in Wicked. There's no big special effects. There's no background actors or dancing. It's just most of that song is the actress playing Elphaba and the actor playing Fiyero just kneeling on the stage together, holding each other and singing with their faces so close together. And it's just so romantic and intimate. And I don't know if the movie version captured that intimacy in the way I wanted. I think Cynthia and Jonathan captured it in their expressions and the way they touched each other and the way they kissed. People are saying they have no chemistry. I don't believe that's true.
I don't think they have chemistry.
You don't think they have chemistry?
No.
Explain yourself.
I felt, well, in those scenes you're meant to feel like, whoa, this is amazing. I was like, whoa, I feel like a pervert. Because like I feel like these two don't want me to witness anything that's about to happen.
Yeah, because they're meant to have sex. I don't want you to watch it.
Yeah, and it feels like they were forced to do it. I didn't think but I also didn't think this was Jonathan Bailey's best performance in general.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I loved him in the first movie.
Oh my God, the longing, the character development, the way he, like the sorrow and transformation he goes through, the self-realization, the yearning, Emily.
I wonder if it just felt rushed for me. Like I didn't really like he didn't do it for me.
Yeah, I just think that scene needed to be smaller. And I think there's a few scenes that I think did need to be a bit smaller. I understand John M. Chu. I know we've got the budget. I know we've got the money. And I also know that he doesn't care about my opinion. And I do think one of the best things that the creative team for Wicked did is just go away, film it all in one go. And John M. Chu, I must always say his full name, John M. Chu said that the mantra he had in his head for these movies was turn your back to the audience and conduct the orchestra. So don't think about what people like us are saying. Don't think about the fans. Think about what the people in front of you, the actors and the musicians are doing, and only focus on them. And I think that is very good not to let the noise in. But my note for him, should he want to listen, is that like Girl in the Bubble felt like you could barely see Ariana Grande in all those crazy set dressings and flashbacks and everything. Like it overshadowed her. And I think the same thing happened a little bit in As Long As You're Mine, because you're almost distracted by, like you're saying, her hideaway, and then she's changing clothes. And at one stage they're flying.
Yeah, what the hell?
I thought the best parts of that song when they were kind of just
because they're flying. Wait, sorry.
Do you remember that bit, right?
Yeah, because
and also she's holding him as they're flying because he's got no power.
She's holding him, and he's taller than her. Yeah. But because they're in the air, it looks like she's lifting him up.
She's holding him up.
Yeah, but like as if like she's carrying him like a baby. But it's only because he's taller than her, and then they just started floating in that same height position.
I mean,
I just think it was really awkward. Like it was just weird to watch.
We're so used to seeing like the superhero man come in and sweep the woman up and fly her around, and now it's Fiyero.
I think that's what he needed,
being flown around the room. I thought the best part's that song when it really closed in on just their faces together, and you saw them kiss and know that they just had great sex after that.
Yeah,
which is the whole point
Allegedly.
of those. The whole point of those characters. The subtext of this is that they have incredible sex throughout the whole thing.
Okay,
so
and she's like, Nessa, gotta go.
Yeah, and he's just a bit like, oh, do I stay? Do I go? What do I do?
Then he goes and finds the monkeys.
Yeah, huge moment for them. And then we're moving into his transformation, which again is one of the sorrowful parts of Wicked in a way.
It's also one of the biggest plot twists.
Yeah. And I know I'm sounding negative about this movie, which I must say I loved very much. But I just don't, when you're saying before about some plot twists not being given the room they needed to grow and the room they needed to be able to hit what a big reveal they are, I think his transformation was one of them.
Was one of them. It was like, I was actually quite disappointed in the reveal of his transformation.
Why? Do you want to talk about his face now?
And then the actual reveal of his face on top of that.
I have never felt a collective scream and gasp around me.
The giggles?
And people weren't screaming and gasping because they didn't know that Fiyero turns into the Scarecrow at the end. They were screaming and gasping because they didn't know what his face as a Scarecrow would look like. Fiyero, as people are calling him.
Oh, it was not good.
Yeah.
I can't even begin to explain it.
It is definitely...
Okay, how would you explain... Sorry, how would you... I'm sorry.
Okay. At this stage, no, it's okay. I'm trying to think about how to explain it. At this stage of the movie, I'm openly weeping.
Yeah, your eyes are already blurred.
I can barely see what's happening. So I didn't register at first when I saw him exactly how...
You know what it looked like?
He looked, yeah.
He looked like Jonathan Bailey with like a Snapchat filter on his face.
Yes, oh my God, that's it.
Like any of us could do that.
Yeah. That's like what we would imagine if we were just doing it ourselves on a computer but or like on our phones.
Yeah.
But not. Yeah, I just, for a movie that is so incredible.
It looked like AI.
Yeah, I just think for a movie that's so incredible, especially at practical effects.
Especially because we saw the Tin Man before that.
And that set the bar so high.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I think they should have done that with Jonathan Bailey. Like go for an ode for the original Scarecrow. Like the sack with the features.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, he just...
It looked like a plastic covering over his face.
Yeah, it literally looked like a filter.
It didn't look textured.
Yeah, it was weird. It looked like he was like yassified.
It was just because it's meant to be it is such a powerful moment. Because also for most people in that theater,
and then she has to pretend to be like shocked and be like, Fiyero, and I'm like, obviously it's him. It's not a Clark Kent situation. We all know it's him.
Maybe she was like, oh, I changed my mind.
I'd have been like, I'm tapping out.
Yeah, I know I'm supposed to stay with you for better or for worse.
Actually,
but like,
I think I'll be okay on my own.
Yeah.
You can go.
You're like, I'm just not that girl. But no, I mean, look, I did cry at this bit because it is so beautiful. Because on one hand, you have the reveal that Elphaba is alive and that Fiyero's fate is sealed and it is this sadness. But you kind of have this moment of just knowing that these two people who are so, so deeply in love have found each other and are going to walk away together into this new world. And it's also interesting that Elphaba was always seen as the outcast because of how she looked. And now a man who was previously like the ideal of beauty is now an outcast because of how he looked.
Yeah.
It's like the ending of Shrek. It's like the ending of Shrek where they're both ogres.
I was also like, when I remember watching the musical when I was younger and I was like, she did that spell on purpose. She knew what she was doing.
Oh my God. No good deed when she casts the spell. Can I just say it's always one of my favorites because it is, again, about talking about songs that have to be earned to be in there. It is this moment where up until then, Elphaba has this thing where she's almost an unattainable heroine for us because she was like, I don't care about myself. I just care about the animals. I care about right and wrong and I care about nothing else. And like, that's just not a human thing. Like no one 100%, everyone's actions, whether they're good or bad, are motivated by something for them. So when she talks about like, did I just want this because I wanted to prove I was special? Did I wanted to prove I was the best? Did I want the attention for this? And have I brought this on myself is one of the best character developments, I would say, in history.
Yeah.
Like, it is so well done. It's so perfectly done. It's so clever. And I think that song encapsulates it so much. And you kind of almost see the payoff of that song in this moment where she's like living, she in that moment, she knows that she has done work for the greater good, but she also has to live with the consequences of her actions, which is disfiguring the man she loves. And what I thought maybe was a little bit missed is that in the stage show, not to always bring it back to that, but it's such a huge plot point that he stumbles when they try to walk away together to this new life and she has to hold him and carry him. Yeah. It's this metaphor of her having to carry him for the rest of their lives and look after him. And I don't know how much of that was brought into the movie, or maybe it was in a way. No.
I don't know. At that point, I was just like, laughing my head off.
I do think that their storyline came to a beautiful end in the movie and it did feel so earned. I just wish they had spent a little bit of time setting up him being the Scarecrow and setting up the stakes of that. And I guess that because you see the Tin Man's face in the lead up, you see the lion's face, you never see his face until the end, and that's supposed to be a little wink to the audience who doesn't know about what's coming. So there is that. Okay, shall we get to the real story, the real love story in Wicked, which is Glinda and Elphaba?
The scene that I did really tear up for is when they told each other I love you. Stop. Behind the door.
The thing about For Good is it is just,
oh my God, the best song.
Such a transformative song. And it's like, I know that people listen to that song all the time and that people have listened to it in the movie and the stage show and like myself, people listen to it. But I also urge people to just sit down and also just read the lyrics because the lyrics are so beautiful. And it is, at the end of the day, a love story between these two women and this moment where it just, the kind of weight of the consequences of what they're choosing to do, which is to be separated forever. Obviously, Glinda is not aware of what's going to happen, but Elphaba does know. But the stakes in that moment are so high.
Yeah. And also you can see how, because I feel like it's very obvious because Glinda loves loudly. And I feel like it's very obvious how much love Glinda has for Elphaba. And it's not as obvious for Elphaba because she's much more reserved.
Yes.
But you find out that her love is so great because she doesn't give Glinda the choice. She makes the choice for her by not telling her that she's still alive because she knows that Glinda would just like follow her or like bring her back.
Yeah.
And she does that for her. And I think that's like the moment in the movie where you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Right? Am I right, girls?
So it is, like it is this kind of beautiful centering of this friendship. That's
kind of like you and me.
It would just be 100% like us. That moment, again, about John M2 knowing when to like really hold in a moment and knowing when the quieter moments are more important than the song. That moment where Elphaba shuts her behind the door and the camera just holds on them for so long of each of them pressing against the door and sobbing. And both of the actresses had, I mean, they're both incredible in this, but the build up to that moment, especially because they shot the movies back to back and they both did all this extensive work. Like Ariana Grande would come to set with like all these notebooks with hundreds of pages of handwritten notes so she would know emotionally where she was at each scene to appropriately build to that moment. Cynthia Erivo had all these like sense memory tricks, like different perfumes for different scenes. So she could always smell where she was like in Elphaba's journey. And so she could differentiate, because the thing is, the way they react in this moment is so different to how they react at the end of the movie. In that moment we see them say goodbye and the moment they first became friends. And so when you see them pushing of two sides of the locked door, it's this idea that their friendship is severed forever, but they're going to hold on to this moment. And it is so beautiful and heartbreaking. Like that is when I was like literally sobbing so hard that I actually thought I might have to just like crawl onto the floor.
Yeah, it was really
just
sad.
So much. And also I think I always thought it was odd when people were like, who's going to play Dorothy? Where's Dorothy going to be? I'm like, it's not like, she's kept off screen for a reason.
Yeah, similar to the musical, which is what I liked.
She's not off, like she's not part of this world. It's not her story.
The only interesting part is that you see it, how it weaves within the Wizard of Oz.
Which again is the magic of Wicked, of knowing that like how wonderfully this secret backstory is set within the original story, but it's not meant to be Dorothy's story. So she absolutely should not be on screen. Yeah. I would have thrown my popcorn at the screen if I'd seen her face.
Really?
Yeah, because you're not meant to. That's the whole point of it.
And Dodo.
And so those final moments, I think, where we see Glinda kind of come into her power, we see her pop the bubble that she lives in, and then we see Elphaba make this choice that feels really earned at the end of the most powerful thing I can do in this moment. She thought the most powerful thing she could do was to be visible, but sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is be invisible. Yeah. And so you see her make that choice and also get a happy ending. Yeah. To an extent. Allegedly. With Fiyero. Yeah, I think they had a happy ending. They went to the other world.
Yeah, whatever that was. Yeah. It looks like Hades.
Well, overall, I think, I know that there's been mixed reviews about Wicked for Good, but overall, I think it's an incredible piece of filmmaking and storytelling. And I want to watch
both of them now back to back.
Let's do it right now.
Yeah. Bye.
That's all I want to do. So, Wicked. We did it. I'll go cry by myself now because it's just the best thing in the whole world, isn't it?
Agreed.
It's the best thing.